B2B marketers want performance marketing to work. We see the case studies, we see competitors spending big on ads, but when we try it ourselves, it turns into a money pit. High CPCs, low quality leads, and zero confidence in what to scale next. Today's guest proves that performance marketing works in B2B if you actually know what you are doing. Emil Petkov is the head of marketing at Pemo, a company operating in the UAE that grew from zero to tens of millions in revenue, with around 80% of revenue driven by performance. In this episode of B2B Marketing Flywheel podcast, we will break down how performance marketing actually works in B2B at scale. Budgets, channels, creatives, AI-generated ads, video, landing pages, and how to turn paid traffic into actual real pipeline for your business. So, if you are a B2B marketer trying to make paid media predictable and scalable, this episode is for you. That's B2B Marketing Flywheel podcast. I'm your host, Nick Verback, and let's dive in. All right. Emil, thank you for being here. Welcome to the podcast, B2B Marketing Flywheel podcast. I'm really excited to hear and see you here. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for inviting me, Nick. Excited to be on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. You are one of the few B2B marketers I know who can confidently say that they have mastered performance marketing, and you are actually the first guest who will be talking about this topic on the podcast. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you for being here.
Yes, I do feel like I have a lot to share when it comes to performance marketing. And also adding to that, it's I feel like I'm one of the B2B marketers, not so many B2B growth marketers who really love creating cool, fun, and of course converting video ads for our boring B2B. In our case, this is a fintech. It's not boring at all, but and the content doesn't have to be. So I'd love to speak about that.
Everybody is striving for converting ads, but fun is a top notch goal, I think, because in B2B everything is so boring. So I think fun is an essential part of B2B marketing. Should be, at least.
I feel like I'm one of the first to really crack the fun, cool angle of how you should do B2B ads, which kind of boils down to one sentence, which is, just make ads with people who do cool stuff with your product. This is how I summarize it. And because people go on social, they consume visual content, and are mostly interested, I would argue, in seeing other people.
So with that, let me ask me actually the first question. So you've seen Pemo, the company you are currently working for, like growth from really zero to tens of millions in revenue. And with the help of performance marketing as a core engine for that growth, what did you get right early that most B2B teams get wrong? Because I know that many say that performance marketing is overrated, it's expensive, and so on and so forth. So what do you think helped you to get that right, like really early?
Well, it was video content. Back in 2020, late 2021, when we first started gaining traction at Pemo, the first thing I, as head of marketing, set out to do was build a performance marketing team with really strong ideation, video editing, and of course campaign management, because we had lofty goals, which, like you kind of mentioned, we're hitting. So that was the first thing that we really wanted to succeed. Video content for Pemo, which is corporate spend management fintech startup. So a lot of video content is not the first thing a lot of my colleagues in B2B do, but it was the first for us. and it was the single most successful, the biggest driver of acquisition for a company with a tremendous goals. I mean, from zero to north of $10 million of ARR in less than 3 years. I think most people will agree is quite the fast quite the fast growth and quite the achievement.
Yeah, I think anyone would agree with that. So no reason to doubt that, because that's an outstanding results. And with the only one single channel as as a performance without any others, right?
Well, it's not a single channel, not really. No, it's we have one big one, and we have multiple others when it comes to inbound. Right? You have Meta, which
Mhm.
is until today our the biggest channel for qualified lead generation. And but there are so many other channels that we're doing that you need to do. You have your Google ads, you have your TikTok. I am proud to say that we are one of the few B2B fintechs that have really cracked TikTok as a viable, cost-efficient channel for acquisition. I'm very happy we're doing it. And it wasn't that difficult to imagine, seeing as most of our ads that we were already rolling out on Meta were inspired by a lot of TikTok trends. So the transition wasn't that difficult when we did it. Probably a year and a half since we started our performance marketing machine. And of course, you have your organic, which your channel, which we also consider as inbound, because we have very concentrated efforts on generating leads through organic content.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a mix of channels. I wouldn't call it one channel. It's quite a few. It's quite a few.
Yeah, and how did you come to the conclusion, like where you decided to test this idea with TikTok? I mean, that's not that intuitive for B2B brand, and maybe that's the reason why it works. But I already imagine these type of conversations with stakeholders when you tell them like we should crack on TikTok, and they tell, oh no, TikTok is like for dancing, music, and teenagers. Our serious B2B audience and youths who don't hang out there.
Well, TikTok has really seen a tremendous growth over the years. If in the beginning it was mostly very young audiences, now it's much more than that. Also, the young ones, they grow up, right?
Yeah,
Which is
absolutely.
important for us and our ICP, which is typically 28 years old and above. Minimum 28 years, because our ICP is mainly decision makers in finance departments, C-suite, and these are typically 30 plus people, right?
Yeah.
But you have a lot of them these days on TikTok. So again, for someone like me who does very or tries to do very cool and fun ads with, for example, fully clothed people with buttoned shirts, fully submerged in a swimming pool, doing manual reports in that swimming pool, only to resurface on top of a huge 3D printed Pemo corporate card, which is their lifeboat. These are kind of the type of ads you can expect from us, and you see from us. And of course, they're going to work on TikTok. They're with people doing fun stuff that your audience, they don't necessarily want to see dancing people, when thinking about the business. But when they see something business related, and like, they watch it because the hook is fun, and we have incredible thumb stop rates too. We pride ourselves with the great hooks that we make, and very high thumb stop rate. And then you watch and you're entertained. You stop watching, and then yes, we do show you the benefits later in the video, but we already have your attention. So, and I believe this is why it works for us, because our ads were already really kind of, like I said, TikTok inspired.
I actually like that so much, and also I'm not the guy who states that TikTok doesn't work for B2B. I just guess that it can be hard for B2B marketer to prove to the stakeholders that it worth a try, because I've read like multiple LinkedIn posts from ClickUp team that especially from CMO, that they really cracked TikTok organic with some funny situations like that happens in B2B companies that are their clients, like the clients of ClickUp. And that's the tricky thing here, is that it probably works because not every company thinks of that it might work, right? So, and I'm just curious, how was that at your company when you were talking about TikTok and that this kind of funny ads?
First of all, I have the privilege of having full creative freedom.
Oh god.
Yes, I'm. Of course, you earn that. You earn that by starting, more conservatively. You don't do your crazy ads with raccoons and crazy memes from the top, but you earn that, and I'm happy that I have a leadership who are wise enough to give me this free reign. So there was never really a discussion. I fully believe this is the next natural step, adding TikTok, seeing as how successful our crazy video ads are on Meta. And let's not forget the big game changer in video came from TikTok.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
it was followed by Reels on Instagram.
Yes.
So if you were creating ads already, I mean, we were already creating for Reels first and foremost, but that came, the content on Reels is already biased and influenced by, TikTok, which is its, precursor. So, if our content was native on Reels, it was kind of already native for TikTok. So there was very little adaptation that we needed to do to launch TikTok. So there was no reason not to do it for us whatsoever. Very little risk. It was more or less the same ads. And mentioning ClickUp, we did actually team up with them, with one of their leading content creators, Luke, great guy, fantastic actor, fantastic talent, and we also teamed up to do some ads together, both as these stitch ads, where we stitch their already amazing content to some of our to content of ours, because a lot of their content was very relevant to what we do. For example, when the finance department meeting goes too crazy, for example, they have all these videos like that. So because somebody was overspending on the airport buying tens of airplane pillows, and you just stitch to that. In this case, it was me as the actress. Someone saying, no, just use the Pemo card. It comes with built-in spend limit controls, right?
I feel so unlucky that I didn't come across this ad, and honestly, I didn't know that you partnered with ClickUp. Yeah, but I
Yeah,
should
we did.
definitely prepare myself a bit better before the podcast.
No, not a lot of people know that. Especially, I mean, these ads were, a lot of them, great, but there's also a fine line between comedy and performance. You gotta do the comedy part in a very sparing way. Not to cross the line, because yes, people might laugh at it and then just move on to the next thing and not convert. So
Yeah.
what ClickUp do amazingly well with their organic content is creating really fun fun content, right? That a lot of it gets viral. But fun content is not always converting content. right? So you got to strike a good balance. That's why we were involved with Luke on other projects, and where he kind of generated performance content, which was still really cool to watch, which led to us receiving probably the only ad out, which was not done in house, that for a good period outperformed our in-house ads, which we've worked with multiple agencies over the years. None of them ever came close to the performance of our in-house ads. But what Luke did with that one ad, it was a really good one, really strong one, and today performing really well.
That's good. Um, we briefly touched the topic of channels, and what the advice would you start like a B2B company starting with performance marketing as a channel? Would you recommend them to start like, let's say, with Meta, for example, and then scale that to other channels when they master that, or like spray and pray across different channels, and then double down on what works well and like get rid of what doesn't? What do you think the right approach here if company is just starting?
If a company is just starting, the first advice I would give them before anything else is get a great performance marketer. A lot of companies get that wrong. They kind of belittle the significance and the impact of a great performance marketer, which is not your off-the-mill marketer. A performance marketer's job in the end of the day is to generate clients and revenue.
Yeah.
And this is how I am. This is how these are my targets. Purely, unit economics targets and KPIs that lead to more revenue. So very important. First step. Then going back to your question, I've worked with a lot of B2B companies, small ones, medium ones, huge ones, the likes of Fiverr, Pleo, which is a European counterpart of Pemo. And we kind of always see the same picture, which is Meta works really well for mostly for SMEs, right? So no reason not to launch with Meta. It's especially, if you're after significant growth, large scale growth, start with Meta. This would be my advice. Build traction, do Google ads, and then branch out to whatever makes sense, whether it's whatever, B2B is, it can be LinkedIn, it can make sense, or it can be TikTok. For us, LinkedIn did not make a lot of sense when we had to kind of choose the next logical channel for us. So we went with TikTok, but we've grown a lot. And we're already planning 2026, adding more channels, more exciting tests. So yes, I would start smaller. Don't spray and pray. Just start with Meta, get some good results, and then branch out.
Got it. And do you think there is a minimum budget for ads that should be in place when it was just starting, or maybe there is a threshold where if you have a lower budget, you will just spend that because I don't know, algorithms will not work properly until you reach some amount of budget?
Yes, there is, and it's a simple math. Ideally, you want to be optimizing for your money-making event, which with B2B is very difficult typically because sales cycles are much longer, and that means you need a lot of time to get to that money-making event, and Meta's algorithms don't work great if that event takes more than a day, 3 days, maximum 7 days to happen. And that's even a stretch. So what you have to do is pick the closest event to that money-making event that still happens within 1 day or 2.
I'm sorry, but
Which is
what do
typically
you mean by money making event in this
well,
context?
company closed, for example, acquired, which is where the money happens, right? Which is when you activate a customer, for example,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to be optimizing for money, for revenue, not just for leads. Nobody like the business doesn't care about leads. The business cares about leads that convert into
Yep.
customers. But it's very difficult again because typically to get to that paying customer, or especially with B2B, it takes some time. D2C is easy and quick, right? You sell a physical product, let's say, and people. It has a small to medium price tag, likely the majority. So people tend to need less time to make up their minds if they want to buy it. Sometimes it's even on the spot,
Mm-hmm.
happening within the same day. Easy. B2B, not that easy. So you need to be really careful how you pick this event that is a really good predictor to revenue.
So it's
Which
basically some kind of a
and
signal that indicates that your like ICP company is in the market right now for your
it's
solution.
a signal. I'll give you an example. So a lot of companies have a form where they want their people to fill the form and become a lead.
Mm-hmm.
And they optimize for when this company fills the form and presses the button. But then there's a next step, right, that you want these people to go through, which is maybe scheduling a demo call with your sales team, right? So and then after the demo, there's another step, which is where your sales team decides whether this is a sales qualified lead.
Mm-hmm.
If these actions can happen within a fairly short period of time, you can send all of these signals back to Meta. So Meta knows, okay, I'm not just after the people who fill the form or book the demo, but I actually can optimize for people who do all these 3 events, which is book a demo, schedule a call, and be flagged by sales team or not as a sales qualified lead, because that gives Meta really good understanding who you're after. And then you have this event that you can optimize for, and Meta goes chasing these people. So
Got
this
it.
is
So
my biggest, this is very important to nail from the beginning. So going back to your budget question, and this is where the math kicks in. Find that event, that good predictor that happens within ideally 1 day, and then find out how much that costs you, and multiply by 8, because Meta typically needs at least 8 of these events any given day to be able to find the common denominator between these people and optimize delivery. It works on a weekly basis, so they say you have to have a minimum of 50 of these conversions on a weekly basis. From my experience, I know that if I'm getting anything below 8, 7 is stretching it a bit. 6 is rarely enough. Then the algorithm is dry, and it starts under delivering. So that's your math. That's the minimum budget. 8 conversions, 8 times the average cost of that good predictor event,
mm-hmm.
and then times 30 to
Okay.
get the monthly.
And can be that event not something that happens after the like your prospect engages with the sales within the sales cycle, but can it be some outside event signal, let's say fundraising or I don't know, new office opened or something like that, some outside signal that may be an indicator for you that they are in the market for your solution?
So if I understand your question right, you're asking if you can tell a method to go after people who have just opened a new office or just did some fundraising.
Kind of. From your answer, I got the point that as a signal, you use these kind of engagements with like when people already fill out the form or went on a discovery call or something like that. And the question is, can you use as these money making events something that happens external when people are not in your sales cycle yet?
Yes. So I think I understood your question right. You can, but this will mean narrowing your audience a lot
Mhm.
because there's not a lot of people, companies who fit this criteria. It's high profile criteria. It's not high frequency criteria. And it's not great for machine learning. It's not
Got
great
it.
for the way Meta's algorithm works. Any meta engineer will tell you, or machine learning engineer will tell you that the algorithm loves working with huge audiences and huge typical. I mean, big enough audiences, and big enough typically means over 1 million.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's a lot. And
so
what
you
are
have the answer to your question, right?
yeah,
How many of these are
absolutely.
going to have raised money or opened a new office?
Yes. And what do you think people should do if they have not enough audience? Like, let's say you just said it's approximately a million is a good number, but let's say if I have 5,000 companies that are my total addressable market.
Then you should invite another marketer to your podcast. I have no idea. I
Got it.
specialize in high scale acquisition, thousands of customers. I mean, hundreds or thousands of customers per month. Whatever I tell you, I have no experience with this. I've never worked with I've actually tried working with companies that are targeting huge corporations, 1,000 plus full-time employee companies, and failed miserably. I mean, I did. My campaigns did, because it's very hard to optimize for this. This is a relatively small audience, and again, the algorithm does not like this. If so, the company needs to show flexibility. That's what I always advise these companies. Try to find a way to get the big fish. Try to optimize for the medium ones as well, because that's how you get them. Now, if it's super niche and there's big, small, doesn't matter, it's still a small audience, then I would tell you don't do meta paid, don't do meta paid. Try doing meta organic. Maybe try some LinkedIn. Definitely Google Ads. I've seen good success with Google Ads. When it comes to uh, you know um, business to enterprise marketing activity.
Got it. All right. And how does performance marketing in the United Arab Emirates differ from Western markets when it comes to like buying behavior, cost per clicks, conversions, expectations, and all of that?
That's a good question. UAE is increasingly expensive market. Your CPMs are not that far from your Western Europe CPM. Still not as high as you know um, San Francisco CPMs, which are typically the highest in the world. But it's pretty on par with Europe, Western Europe, in terms of CPM, CPC. Um, and in terms of buying behavior, I should be able to give you some good insight here, because I've worked, with Pemo in the UAE, and before that with Pleo, which has a similar product, corporate expense management, prepaid corporate cards, and expense automation, and operates in Europe. And it's not that different. Honestly, conversion rates are quite similar, both in terms of company size, and the approach is not that different either. You need to be a tad more conservative in what you show in your UAE ads, although the market is getting more and more liberal, but still there are some limits. Like I wouldn't advise showing people drinking alcohol on my, UAE ads.
Yeah, that's
Even though I'm
fair.
not even sure it's gonna be a problem, but it's yeah, we don't do that. We always try to be respectful of the culture of the market. So there are small nuances, but I think the underlying winning strategies apply.
Got it. That's interesting that this market is almost same expensive as Western Europe already. So
Oh, it's booming. It's a lot of capital is flocking to the UAE. A lot of money, a lot of companies are being opened. A huge SME sector, lots of investments, good investment climate. So yeah, it's a tremendous. It's seeing tremendous growth, and with growth, everything goes up.
yeah, that's fair. What do you think separates performance ad content that looks good from content that actually converts into like qualified leads and revenue? Do you see any difference between? Um, I can elaborate on the question. So basically, I'm asking that I know that not really pretty ads usually convert better than these like polished B2B in branded colors and everything. So is that basically true?
It kind of used to be true that ugly ads, a term coined by a fellow marketer, they used to win. But I'm seeing some shift away from that. So 3 years ago, in the beginning of our Pemo performance path, we were doing these very unpolished, ads that would convert massively. One of them even got viral. Is our top performing ever ad, and it's such a simple ad. Basically, you have an angry bearded guy in an office throwing up in the air the two problems, one of the biggest pain points of the audience, which is petty cash. They hate tracking petty cash, and receipts. Finance managers hate chasing. So that's all he does. He just throws them in the air and says bye bye. Petty cash, receipts, bye bye. Zero cost ad. Great guy, great talent. He is. 2 seconds though. This is the interest. 2 seconds, if that. So that generated a huge pipeline for us over a large period of time, which is also rare, right? Typically, meta ads have a shorter lifespan. This one lasted for 12 months on and off. But lately, I am seeing a bit of a shift from that, which is probably due to the advance of AI. Also, the advance of YouTube. Also, I worked in a market where people love polished things, UAE, Dubai, where everything is very polished. Um, uh, um, but it's not just the UAE. I see ads that are polished, good looking, that are starting to win. Of course, they have to be at the intersect of, being performance-y and polished. If they are, look, in the end of the day, you're fighting for thumbs that they stop scrolling.
Yeah.
And if you do that, typically it's a combination of several things. It has to be visually appealing. Like I've created this brilliantly performing ad where the intro is purely AI. It's you see the Pemo corporate car. I'm like, it's the hot summer in the UAE. What can we show to our audience? That we get our attention, and a lot of marketing teams will be like, okay, let's do beach ads, or somebody at the beach, doing their, sipping a cocktail because they're using Pemo or any, like the beach ads, and I'm like, and then I don't remember how, but I am like, let's do the opposite. Let's do a wintry ad.
Yeah, that's what I thought actually.
Let's show our Pemo corporate card in an ice cube.
That's literally what I thought. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
Look,
sorry.
it's we did that with the voiceover saying this is the coolest, because you show winter and in the center you see the Pemo card in an ice cube. This is the coolest, most used, most wanted corporate card in the UAE, and the ice breaks to show the Pemo corporate card in its true shine. And this ad became a huge success. And then we saw a lot of leads. And I guess you got to give your audience what they want. And during this hot summer, they don't want more content, which they're already inundated by, of people at the beach, under the sun. No, give them what they crave, which is an ice cube and something to cool themselves down. Great ad. Lately, just as a bit of this is where I wrap this up, some trivia. I think our colleagues at Revolut, who entered the market not long ago, did also they kind of follow suit with their card in an ice cube, right? Their context was different. It's to freeze and unfreeze, but it was pretty much very similar, very inspired, I should say, like very similar to our ad. And good on them for paying attention on what works. I always takes it. If I see them rolling this out ad in the UAE, I wouldn't like it that much. But anytime somebody copies my work or is inspired by it, I feel like this is a good credit.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, and I actually like the idea that, if you want to get their attention, and they are during December, they are probably on the beach already themselves, right? And they're scrolling their feed, and beach is all over the place there. So the least expected thing would be like a nice, really something that will grab their attention.
Yes, I'll give you another quick example. During the holy month of Ramadan, which is known for fasting, from sunrise to sunset, people don't eat. And what did I do? I rolled ad, which is about shawarmas. Doner kebab. I don't know if you're. It's about shawarmas and how it shouldn't take more than 2 minutes to expense a shawarma. Linking, always have to link with your product. Why not just do it for the sake of anything? And they loved it. I mean, it was a lot of hungry people clicked on an ad and booked a demo with their sales team.
Yeah, I actually quite feel related to that. As I'm hungry myself, I would definitely be down for shawarma ads right now. Yeah. All right. So you've had a great success with video ads, and why do you think they work so well in B2B and for your case exactly?
I guess you gotta fight for the attention of people where they are already giving it. And everybody's on Reels these days. Everybody's watching TikToks these days.
Absolutely.
I'm a mass marketer. My goals are very, very high. And the result is that we have maybe 3 times more customers than our largest competitors, which are on the market maybe it's more than us, even same time or at least more. And this is my biggest strength. I believe this is my biggest talent. Just finding what works for your largest possible audience that can convert.
And you've mentioned that you use AI in content creation for ads. Are there any specific use cases that you think AI is good for, and maybe some that are really, really bad ones for creating AI-based ads?
Yes, I have a few AI winners already. The icebreaker, the
Mm-hmm.
ad I told you about, like the ice cube, I call it the icebreaker, is one of them. And what works here is visually impressive intro. It was really done well by our team. Just people would just stop. It had a maybe 30% thumb stop rate, which for us is well above the benchmark. We're
Mm-hmm.
typically doing 20%. That's the average. So stunning visuals, again related with what your product's audience cares about, work well, and AI facilitates that. They, you can create stunning things with AI. Comedy is the second thing that should work because it doesn't have the pretense of authentic, user testimonial done by an AI avatar, which always feels a bit off. Especially, we're not. I mean, we're not. We can still, most of us, tell the difference between a real human and an AI avatar. So it will. But if you do some comedy, nobody cares if it's a real person or not. I'll give you an example. Recently, I did this ad with a grandma
Mm-hmm.
who is a retired CFO riding in her very expensive car at the backdrop of Dubai sea and beaches, and just giving sage advice. People, she reads off her phone. People ask her, turn to her for advice. What are what are the biggest bottlenecks in finance for a growing company? And then she says, then she says things like that are connected to your product, like not tracking company expenses properly or drowning in petty cash. And then she connects it. You see that you start. That's a kind of a funny thing. It's not super salesy. It's still connected, right? And then she moves on to showing the corporate card that she used to use back in her day as a CFO. So comedy, I believe, can work well as well for in terms of AI. What a bad use case for me is, and I don't, I think I've tried it only to test my hypothesis that is gonna fail. Is what I kind of already mentioned, doing these, AI avatars who are selling your product. For me, that didn't work. But also, let's remember that my niche, trust is big. Trust is very big, so you can't do that. People will not like you and will not trust you and will not convert. That said, I do know of a very successful AI ad on a large scale where this woman was selling e-com product. But the e-com product, you can see from the ad that it's really fascinating. I believe it was, yes, it was one of these. You must have seen them. You take a photo of your eye, and then they turn it into an amulet. It might be your baby's eye, and it looks like a really beautiful thing. They put it like a picture, like it looks really nice. So I've seen successful ads on that, but then the product is obvious that it's pretty great with us. People trust us to top up money with us.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta be able to trust us. They want to see real humans, or just not pretending to be legit, because that might throw them off.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if I try to summarize this advice of yours, I would say that you can use AI in video ads creation process, but you might want to avoid the feeling of that you're trying to trick your audience. So, because that can backfire on you with losing trust, right?
Yes, and look, and again, it depends on the vertical. I there have another example of this company that does female cosmetics on a huge scale, millions of ad spend per month. And they showed me, one of my peers there, Mark, a very talented performance marketer, showed me a bunch of ads asking me, which one do you think is AI avatar and which one is real human being? And he showed me 5 such batches, each of 3 ads, and every time, all 5, I was able to tell the AI
Mm-hmm.
ad. But the twist is that the AI ad was the winning ad. First of all, he was really shocked that I can tell what which one was the AI ad. I guess I'm very experienced at this point.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, he said, look, the winner one is between these, in each of these batches is the AI avatar ad, advertising a cosmetics product. So I guess that there's obviously an exception to what I'm talking about, because with cosmetics, and this is a product that's supposed to help with, let's say, one of their biggest selling points is they remove cellulite, which is also a trust thing, right? People want to see some actual proof of it working before buying it. But I guess they did it that well that, it performed very well. So I guess it's a matter of time, and we already know this. It's a matter of time before these ads become indiscernible from what's real from what's AI.
Mm-hmm. Got it. When it comes to ads, so you basically have a place where you get traffic, which is like your channel, right? So whether it's TikTok, Meta, whatever, but then um, you move that traffic to some landing page, right? And when it comes to landing page, or the place basically where you try to convert that traffic into actual business revenue and so on, what is why do you think most B2B websites fail at conversions when traffic comes from paid ads?
I think most of them fail because of several things. And I had interesting conversations with leading marketers or former leading marketers at companies like Wix or Miro, who have
Mm-hmm.
done really good job at optimizing for acquisition and for lead generation. And I see the following mistakes a lot. The page is not optimized for mobile. Let's start with that. You go to the page, you scroll a little bit, and then your book a demo button is not even visible. I go check Wix's page on mobile, see that it's not only it's visible at all times to the sign up in their case, CTA, but they have it twice
Mm-hmm.
on at any time.
So basically, in a
In a
navigation
non-intrusive
in a
way, in a
section, right?
non-intrusive way, it's on their
Yeah.
homepage. This is another thing that a lot of us don't do, including myself until recently. Like we get in this game of creating a lot of landing pages. Sometimes it becomes a rabbit hole where your low-hanging fruit a lot of the times can be simply optimize your homepage. Optimize your homepage, and it can work miracles for you. So optimizing for mobile
Mm-hmm.
and is one big thing. And then try to have as little, just the elements that you need for people to convert. This applies less for homepage, more for dedicated landing page. But no outbound links, no links whatsoever. You don't want that. Start small with a clean, minimalistic hero section, and then build on that based on, adding blocks that you've done your homework. You know that these are the benefits and perks or whatever it is that your audience cares about the most. And go for a medium to long length landing page. This is actually based on testing. For us in the beginning, bare bone, very short, just simply book a demo form landing page used to work very well. But then over the time, I guess with increasing, awareness, growth, and competition, conversion rates started slowing down a little bit, and we had to, test different funnels, longer landing pages, which we kind of eventually found a sweet spot and even increased our conversion rates. Sometimes even doubled on some of the landing pages, which were longer ones.
So it's basically, I would say, the pretty obvious things that still people don't think of, like if they run an ad that will be shown on the mobile and then they do not check how their website looks on mobile, so there can be a problem, right? And
yeah, I guess it's obvious for experienced marketing like yourself. For a lot of, yes, I see a lot of landing pages still not optimized that great. Hell, I still see a lot of meta, lead gen form ads, which can can work well, but that's a different topic.
got it. What metrics do you actually trust when judging performance success, and which metrics you actively ignore?
Well, it's typically first I look at cost per result, especially if I know that result is the one event I told you earlier, we talked about earlier, which is a good predictor for revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know what target cost for that event or that result makes sense. So that's the first thing you look at. If you're getting enough results per day at the target cost, then there's very little else you should worry about. Even if your click-through rate is very low all of a sudden, but this ad is generating, a lot of results and at a good cost, you don't care about CTR. But that said, CTR is actually the one good predictor of. I wrote a post on LinkedIn about analyzing a lot of ads to see what secondary KPI is a good predictor of a good cost per result, and and it's not thumb stop. It wasn't for me at least thumb stop rate. It wasn't hold rate. It wasn't how long people watch your video. If it's a video, it was click-through rate, right? I saw on click-through rate the highest correlation. Like the higher the click-through rate, the better the cost per result. Of course, on a statistically significant scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking a small scale, which an ad that died in 2 days, right? We got 3 results on good cost, but Meta stopped delivering it because it predicted it can sustain a good cost per result at a larger scale. So yes, click-through rate is a good predictor that I look at.
And what do you think? Is there a metric that people are obsessed with, but you think is a vanity?
CPM, including myself, I fall in this trap a lot of the time when things are not going well, when results are bad, and I start obsessing over my CPMs, and then I see, and then I roll out a new ad where it has really good results. CPM maybe stayed the same, very high, but the conversion rate, the click-through rate, everything clicked, and ultimately it had a really good cost per result.
Got it. Thank you for your answer. All right. So, what do you think is the most common performance marketing mistake you see B2B marketing teams repeat, even in experienced ones?
Even experienced ones. Well, relying on statics, not experimenting enough on Instagram and TikTok, not investing enough in a creative strategist. Very important. Performance creative strategies is a big thing now. These people can make a lot of money. So these are some recurring mistakes that I see. Not doing ads. I see a lot of the times people like these CEOs or decision makers in big B2B companies. I show them the our ads and they laugh at them. They're like, "This works for you?" And then they see our numbers or a glimpse, just over a high level view of our achievements, and they're like mind blown. They don't believe. So I would encourage them to believe, to be braver when it comes to video content. Your audience is not that boring. Entertain them, and then you get a chance to convert them.
That's a really great advice. I fully aligned with that. All right. So last question. So basically, if you had to summarize your performance marketing playbook for 2026 for B2B teams, what are the non-negotiable principles would be in that playbook?
Yes, generate more video, experiment more with AI, try more channels that you haven't even thought of trying or testing, and make sure that your organic content supports your paid activity. They go hand in hand, kinda. And yes, these would be my main advices.
I like that. All right. So, Emil, thank you. It was super, super insightful. And thank you for being so open and transparent about your results, failures as well. I think people learn much more from some mistakes rather than successes that can be just pure luck. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, go follow Emil Petkov on LinkedIn. He shares a lot of sharp insights on performance marketing. And while you are there, add me on LinkedIn as well. That's where I share behind the scenes lessons from building and web agencies that helps B2B marketers succeed with their B2B websites. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and don't miss new episodes. See you next time. So thank you, Emil, for being here.
My pleasure.